Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of my Devlog series on a game I'm calling Project Medusa. It's a game inspired heavily by Ark Survival Evolved and Conan Exiles. Last week I decided to change how inventory in the game is handled. I'm going with a more visual approach instead of the standard drag and drop inventory system. A lot of interactions the player makes with the world is based around the old inventory system, so I knew this wouldn't be easy. This wouldn't be an easy feature to add. Luckily for me, I like to keep my functions small. I like getting prototypes up and working as quickly as possible in the most efficient way I can. After that, I then go about implementing the feature or mechanic. On screen right now is an example. I wanted to see the resource being picked up and then move into the desired slot. I also wanted to have at least 2 different resource sizes working before moving on. So Monday afternoon, I started with the new inventory system. I wanted the prototype done before the end of that day because I had planned to refine the system all week or most of the week. Tuesday I started the first attempt at implementing the new inventory systems into the drone's AI. I was having a lot of fun with this and all seemed to be going smoothly. I worked some of my previous drone actions to work with the new inventory system. I then also went about creating a new way of building world items. In this new system, the player places down a blueprint. The drones haul the required resources to the blueprint and then start building the item. The first half of Wednesday I continued work on the item building system. This is where I started running into problems. After having a basic version of the new inventory system up, I wanted to start bringing the new inventory system into the drone AI system. Although this worked, I spent a long time troubleshooting new AI actions, and the troubleshooting took longer than I would have liked. For a couple of hours I struggled with combining the 2 systems and then came to the conclusion that I need a better way of getting visual feedback from the system whenever something went wrong. For my AI system, I followed a tutorial by Unity. The tutorial is called Pluggable AI. I needed a modular approach to my AI system and this was perfect for me. It works great. My only problem is that when I need feedback on things that are going wrong, I would have to code in a lot of debug errors and this was a tedious task. The AI system uses a state controller system and the states are tiny and independent. Let's use harvesting resources as an example. When a drone is set to harvest resources, this would be its default state. In this state, it then has intermediate states that it sends off. These are things like harvest node, drop off the resources, etc. Within the intermediate states, there are instant states, things that happen in less than a second. These are things like finding nearby storage containers, finding nearby resource nodes, and such. The problem I ran into was having the AI use these tiny states. If one of the states depends on actions done in the previous state and things went wrong within that previous state. Things going wrong is always expected on my end. It's just that I didn't like how long it took to find what was the cause of the problem and then fix that. I then decided that I need a better way of visually seeing the states and transitions that the drone was making. It would help me better troubleshoot the problems and find the solutions quicker. I know that it's bad practice to try and polish systems early in development, so I knew I would need a new way or a new system instead of trying to polish up the existing system to get more visual feedback. I then decided to look up a few solutions, try them out and then take things from there. So for the rest of the day, I followed a tutorial on how to create a custom node editor. My plan was to follow the tutorial and then build upon it once I have completed the tutorial version and got that up and running. My first attempt at a node editor did not work out. I then moved on to a custom editor window, and then finally I tried Playmaker. I've used Playmaker for a long time before moving on to coding into just C#. I just want to point out that it helped me not to be overwhelmed when just starting out. Learning the Unity game engine, scripting, all the other tools involved at the same time was a lot, so having Playmaker really helped. I didn't have to know much about coding to be able to get small things done. Sadly, Playmaker needed too much change on my behalf and to restructure my code to work with Playmaker, so that also was not a viable option for me. After a lot of struggling and I was starting to feel like I hadn't gotten a lot of work done this week, I decided to give the Unity animator controller another try. On Friday morning, I started integrating the pluggable AI system with the Unity animator controller. The process was smoother than I had expected, and I immediately got what I was after, which was the visual feedback of what the drone was doing and the transitions it was making from states to states. With my new approach, drone actions only needed minor adjustments to get things up and running, but I liked how everything was coming along, so I spent all Friday on this. The AI system is really a core part of the game, so I felt that having this framework for this was important before moving on. While still early in development, I will always choose starting a feature over or reapproaching it from a different angle over trying to polish that system and get it to match the vision that I have for it. Let's take my old inventory system for example. I spent a long time working on it and getting it to the way I envisioned it, and now all that needs to be scrapped because it doesn't fit with the new vision of the game. In the past, scrapping old code was hard for me, especially if I'd put a lot of work and effort into it. But I've come to realize that what I learned from making the systems and frameworks stays with me, and when I need to make something similar, it comes to me easier, and then creating the system is a lot faster. I wanted to upload a small sandbox demo for the game by the end of February. Just a demo with not much to do, but I'm going to have to do that at a later date. I have a lot to change this coming week, and when all I'm doing is adding to the game and not building new features, I have a lot more to show than, let's say, if I've spent the week creating an AI system or an inventory system or something like that.